Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, we'll be comparing these three hottest mid-range to budget mid-range Android smartphones that were launched in India, and all of them cost less than 15,000. In fact, the LE1S is the cheapest at 11,000, and this Honor 5X is at 14,000. So the pricing is very similar, and the thing is that these phones have a lot in common. As you can see, all of them have a fingerprint scanner. Even the cameras, all of them have a 13 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera and a 5.5 inch screen. So they're very similar to each other, but I have been testing these devices and I've already posted the full in-depth review for this LE1S. I'll also be posting the full in-depth reviews for this K4 Note and this Honor 5X. But in this video, I'll be comparing them, and I have made a lot of notes. So this is going to be a very practical video. And first, let's talk with the build quality. And here I have to say the LE1S has the best build quality. It's metallic and the build quality is really nice. It feels like a premium handset. The second vote would go to the Honor 5X. Here also the back is metallic, it's aluminum, but if you hold it very tightly, it flexes a little bit. But overall, again, a very good build quality even on the Honor 5X. Lastly, coming to this K4 Note, here again it's made up of plastic, so if you just press it tightly or hold it tightly, it will flex. So again, it just can't compete with phones having a metallic build quality. So in terms of build quality, the LE1S will get my vote. Next, if we move to the performance and overall fluidity, here first let's talk about this LE1S. This LE1S has that Helios X10 processor, which is actually the most powerful if we compare with all the three devices, and it is the most fluid device. It comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM and it handles it very well. In terms of day-to-day operations, it performs very well. And yes, there is some minor lag at times while doing heavy multitasking, but for the most part, I would say it's very fluid. Next, if we talk about the K4 Note, I did not notice the lagginess in the UI, which is sort of strange. But if you do gaming, then it lags like crazy. Now moving to the Honor 5X, as this one has just 2 gigabytes of RAM, I did notice quite a bit of UI lag when I was doing multitasking or opening heavy apps. Even opening the apps and stuff does take quite a bit of time, and I've just rebooted it, but there is some UI lag that I've noticed with this device. Also, it boots out some of the apps out of memory fairly quickly because it just has 2 gigabytes of RAM. So in performance, again, I would give the vote to LE1S. Now moving to the cellular call quality, which is sort of very important and many people ignore. Here, let's first talk about the LE1S. I had no problems regarding the cellular call quality. The cellular call quality was very good. And even the speaker, when I took some calls on the speaker phone, it was decent. So overall, no issues regarding the cellular call quality. Now let's move to the Lenovo K4 Note. Here I tested it with two Airtel 4G SIMs, and in both the SIMs I had some cellular call quality. If I was making short calls less than a minute or so, I didn't have any issues with the cellular call quality, but with longer calls over 5 minutes or so, I did notice that in the middle of the call, the calls used to get a little bit muddy for about 10-15 seconds, and this happened consistently. So in terms of cellular call quality, and if you make a lot of voice calls, then I would not recommend the K4 Note. But as it has that dual front firing speakers, the calls via the speaker phone were actually very decent. Now moving to the Honor 5X, I have to say this one has one of the best cellular call quality that I got. Even when I took calls more than 20 minutes, they were crystal clear. So in terms of cellular call quality and the network reception, I would say the Honor 5X was the best. But again, I don't like the fact that the speaker phone is very weak because of this speaker. So when I took some calls on this speaker phone, I had to actually yell, and it was not very clear. Now let's move to the next thing, that is the battery life. Here things actually changed drastically, and I'm going to give you the aggressive battery figures. These were while using it only on mobile data. So these are sort of the worst figures, and the weakest here I would say is this LE1S. I was getting an average screen on time of about 3.5 hours on this LE1S with heavy usage and on cellular 3G and 4G data. Next, if we move to the K4 Note, here I got a screen on time of about 4 hours on the K4 Note, which is actually pretty decent. Earlier I was not getting that much great battery life, but after the recent update that I got last week, the battery life on the K4 Note has increased, and a screen on time of about 4 hours is actually pretty good in my opinion. Lastly, if we move to the Honor 5X, I have to say in terms of battery life, this one was the best. I was averaging anywhere between 4.5 hours of screen on time to almost 5 hours of screen on time with the Honor 5X. So if battery life is your highest priority, then the Honor 5X is the best option. Next, if we move to the camera performance, all of them have a 13 megapixel rear facing camera, but let's talk with the LE1S. I have to say outdoor shots when there is a lot of lighting, those come out to be good. But again, the pictures that we take in artificial lighting and indoor lighting, then the camera is the weak point of the LE1S. Moving to the K4 Note, here I would say the K4 Note surprisingly did the best in camera performance. I also compared the camera performance of this Honor 5X with the K4 Note. I just posted the video yesterday, you can check out that. And here I have to say the K4 Note beat both the LE1S and the Honor 5X. So in my opinion, if camera is the highest priority, then the K4 Note does better. But again, it's not the best camera. I again feel that the Moto G3 has a better camera compared to all of these devices. Lastly, again, the Honor 5X had a similar story. Outdoor shots come out to be good, but again, in indoor lighting and artificial lighting, it really struggles. So the K4 Note would be the winner if camera is the most important thing for you. Next, let's move to gaming. Here again, I would say the LE1S did the best in gaming thanks to that Helios X10 chipset with the 3 gigabytes of RAM. Hence, the gaming performance was actually very good on this LE1S. But with extended gaming, if you do gaming for over 15 minutes, as it has that metallic body, the temperatures can rise up to about 44 to 45 degrees Celsius. I would say I just can't recommend this K4 Note for gaming, because in gaming the K4 Note lagged like crazy with heavy games. So if you are sort of a gamer, I would simply not recommend you the K4 Note. Even this Honor 5X did actually pretty good in terms of gaming. It could run even heavy games, but yes, I did notice some minor lag here and there. But overall, it performed decently with gaming. But if I have to pick one device for gaming, then that would be the LE1S. But yes, with extended gaming, it can get a bit hot. Let's move to the other things, some of the additional features that these devices incorporate, making them very different. First, let's talk about this LE1S. It has that IR blaster. So using that, you can control devices like television, air conditioners, your set-top box, etc. It also has fast charging support with the supplied charger, and it also has that USB-C type port. Moving to the, K4 Note, I like the fact that it has that front firing speakers. So it has the best speaker performance among all those devices. Also, if you purchase this optional Ant VR headset, then it has that Theater Max option, and using that you can get that virtual reality experience, and that works actually very well in my opinion. Next, if moving to the Honor 5X, it does not have any special features that I could find apart from the fingerprint scanner, but all of these other devices also have that fingerprint scanner. Moving to the fingerprint scanner, I have to say all of these devices performed very well in terms of fingerprint scanner. They are very responsive. In fact, I was surprised that all of these three devices did perform much better than the Vibe X3's fingerprint scanner. So in terms of fingerprint scanner, all of these three devices perform very well. Now, if we talk about the conclusion, let's first talk about the LE1S. I feel overall the LE1S is a better handset. I would say it's the most fluid among the three. It has the best build quality, and it's the most snappy among the three. But again, and also does very good in gaming. But again, the weak points for the LE1S is the average camera and the average battery life compared to other handsets. Now, if we move to the K4 Note, I would say K4 Note is for someone who wants a slightly better camera than these two devices, and also likes to enjoy a lot of multimedia content. If you like to consume a lot of multimedia content and you think you'll take advantage of this VR headset, then you can consider the K4 Note. But again, I find that the gaming performance is sort of terrible on the K4 Note, and also the cellular call quality was not that great, and also it sort of heats up even when I was just watching videos and stuff for about 15 minutes. So you have to be aware of that. Now, moving to the Honor 5X, what I really liked about this device was the battery life. The battery life was one of the best, I would say. Anything over 4.5 hours of screen on time is sort of amazing with my kind of heavy usage. So I was getting almost 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time. So that is a very good thing. Also, in terms of cellular call quality, the cellular call quality was also very good. But again, it has that weak camera, and also it does exhibit some lag in the UI. Also, the speaker is one of the weakest among the three. So these were my comparison between these three devices. So as you can see, none of the device excels in everything. So you have to decide what is important for you. If battery life is the highest criteria, then you can go with the Honor 5X. But let's say if you want an overall device, but can live with the average camera, then I feel the LE1S might be a better device. Also, if you do gaming, then I would not consider the K4 Note. But if you consume a lot of multimedia content, then the K4 Note might be for you. I hope this video was helpful. If it was helpful, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.